We want to encourage those who want to remain corrupt and steal money, that I beg them. The money should be used to bless our people. Thank you and God bless.
With Faramu here, there will be Howard. Faramu has become a nightmare in this place. You call your security bosses, let the fucking Faramu get out of here. Or else I'll get the public. You're getting 100 security, you're getting 100 army. We mob him to death. I'm saying it, you're recording. I'm tired. I'm tired. I find Faramu anywhere here today. I swear to my damn mother. Anywhere I find Faramu, as I stay here, as I leave this place, anywhere I find Faramu, I will attack him. And you can carry 10 amen, 200 amen to go defend. Anywhere I find Faramu, in 4 days today, I will attack him. I'm moving with men. I'm going to get 25 motorbikes. 333. That's 75%. Wherever Faramu move, I will move there. I'm done. Chief? I'm done. I'm going to keep the game for you.
Wait.
Yo.
Yeah, for us now.
Is Faramu the only immigration officer that they can use? You know, continue to terrorize my people. I know what I found Faramu today. I will mob you to death. I said it. You're arrest me.
We let it respond.
We hear your observation, and we will pass it to our senior manager.
Thank you.
And what I want you to understand, Faramu is not the final decision maker.
It should not be anywhere right here. You terrorize my people.
Faramu and myself for the meeting where they assign us here. He and myself.
He got nothing to coordinate here.
Yeah, we don't see.
I'm not you.
So if Faramu is chief,
maybe you don't know me. I'm a fucking old rebel. And that's how I protected my people. Then that's why I made them to elect me.
Sorry for the time of waiting. I can assure you, the police officer that didn't let us what I'm doing with it, 100% professional.
No problem with the police.
100% professional. That is
No problem with the police.
But they will form Faramu to carry out anything that is not correct.
I don't want to say Faramu will. I'll be doing it.
Go be there for some time to put myself together. I stole my horse there, they put me outside.
So, fellow Liberians home and abroad, just hit for us the share button. Let's get started. Let's get ready. We are bringing you all of these short videos so that we can all get ready to do what we usually do here. So it's going to be very, very wonderful today. We just encourage you to please do us a favor. And that favor that I require of you is to hit the share button, share with friends, share with family members, so that we can all get ready to bring you what we are supposed to bring you. So let's bring you this video. While this video is playing, we get set to, begin our show. So let's bring you this.
What's the current monthly income of a governor and members of the board? Question.
So currently, the salary is $10,000 gross. I am entitled to, I think, 7,000.
No, you acting governor, don't think now. You already been there.
Yes. But this is it. Since I was appointed acting governor on August 1, I have not attempted taking the salary, the benefits, neither have I moved.
No, that's not my question.
So after your
nominee,
I will.
You want to
So kindly hit for us the share button, share with friends, share with family members. Let's get started.
That's what I was saying. The salary, that's the gross.
Everything we supposed to
and
do.
a cash allowance of 7,800 gross.
So just do us the same by hitting the share.
That's one way. So I mean, have you asked him for all the benefits of
Yes.
Well, okay.
Yes.
So the governor, again, gets a monthly salary of $10,000 gross, cash allowance of $7,800 gross. The governor is entitled to a housing allowance monthly. No, monthly is monthly is 5,000 gross. He's entitled to.
So leader, gross. That comes in. Yeah.
No, because the tax rate changes. The exchange rate changes. So I can give you.
So you are getting 60,000 every year for housing allowance.
Yes, gross. So it's paid less taxes. So that's the gross.
So you got 10,000 gross, 7,000 gross.
Yes.
Then another 5,000 gross.
Yes,
So all the gross are give me a total.
Well, that's 15 plus 7. That's 22.
Okay, 22,000 gross.
Yes.
Net.
Net, I wouldn't say because I have not taken it, so I wouldn't know what is net. And again, the net would vary month to month. Yes, I pay them.
So you should know.
The monthly salary of the deputy is 9,000. And then the housing allowance 46,000 annually. There is a monthly cash allowance of.
You are acting deputy governor as we speak. You've been there for how many months? Acting.
Since September 1st.
Since September.
Yeah.
You should know what you're earning monthly offhand already.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to
No, but you come here across as assuming and you're not using the back. I'm not hearing you.
Yeah. And just like the governor said, we don't control the payroll.
How much you receiving?
I get a net of my salary in my income. I mean in my account. And it varies from bank from month to month.
You know, we made all of us in public service and especially this institution where we work, like the front box. So when you're kind of, you don't take it serious because even us here, we won't be serious. You're in a position since September, and you said that net you can receive, you know your gross, you know what you're making.
No, actually my gross salary.
No, you didn't say it.
9,000 gross salary.
Yeah.
All right.
So
we are grateful to be here. We want to use this time to welcome each and every one of you. As usual, we ask that you please do us a favor. And that favor that we require of you is to please hit for us the share button. Share with friends, share with family members, so that all of them know that we are here and that we can have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show. So again, we want to say welcome to all of you. Those of you who are joining us in locations where, the time zone is early in the morning, we want to say good morning to you. For those of you who are joining us in the time zone where it is, late in the evening, like from our end, we want to say good evening to you. And those of you who are joining us from time zone where, it is probably, one will say in the afternoon, want to say good afternoon. But in our common Liberian way, we want to say, my people, your hello. As usual, want to say your hello. That's the common Liberian way that cuts across. And every one of us can fit in there. So, my people, your hello. And you do us a favor. You hit for us the share button. You share with friends and family members, and let's all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time. So let's go as we welcome some of our people that have joined us on here. I want to use this time to welcome Agatha Glasgow. Thank you so much for joining us from RRA Road. Thank you so very kindly. We appreciate your presence. You are welcome. Helena Wilson, how are you? I want to welcome my own lovely sister, Helena Wilson. You are welcome. Pro Poorest Chairman, you are welcome following us there. We appreciate you. Justice D. Baker, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Plibo City is in the house. Thank you joining us there from Plibo. Kindly share with friends and family members. So all of you who are watching us there from Plibo, Maryland County at Zone 4, Junction. We want to say you are highly welcome. Agatha, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. We love you so very kindly. We want to welcome Jovic, Dominic, Momolu. Thank you so much. Sorry, Molu, for joining us. We appreciate you. Thank you so very kindly for joining us. Ambassador G. Augustins, Logan Jr., thank you so much for joining us. Siafaya, how are you? We want to say you are highly welcome. Thank you all very, 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 very kindly. We appreciate all of you. We want to thank you for joining us. Again, it is a privilege, and as usual, we ask that you do us a favor. And that favor that we want you to do for us is to hit for us the share button as we have a very wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time. I want to welcome my own brother, Eric Pevitt, the CEO of the Diaspora Allied. Mr. Pevitt, welcome, sir.
Thank you, Prince. It's always an honor to appear on these critical platforms that highlights challenges affecting the lives of our people back home. Not just challenges, but the progress that our country is making, and the prospect that we all envision along the way, and to have a critical man like you who has committed yourself to championing the rights of people. I must say, this is a selfless initiative that you have decided to put on yourself. History recalls that a great men, as they have lost their lives. A lot of tragedy happening along the way when people take on the mantle to talk for others. So you I one in millions that I like to really appreciate, and it's an honor. And I want to encourage you. There will be time I know that you like. Does it worth it to keep talking for our people, and our people, are not gravitating towards change. Sometimes you get weary, but you have to keep on. There are silent voices, silent listeners, if I would say, that follow you, that admire you. You may never know them, you may never meet them in life, but they are inspired by what you say. They gain hope by the messages you send us. So it's always an honor to be. And I think this is my first time on your show live, and I hope that I will be invited again so that
Definitely.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. Again, I want to say thank you for taking up the time. I know how busy you are, but to take up the time to be with us, we hope that this is not going to be the first or the last time, but that we'll continue to have you here. Your piece, that you do, or those pieces that you put out there, information, they are very interesting. And I can tell you, I'm one of those who benefit from it a lot because usually, I go there and then be able to get information so that we can be able to give to the public. So thank you so much for those information that you are putting out there. Thank you so very kindly.
The
Thank
pleasure
you
is
so much.
mine, and it's just an honor that Diaspora Light is, making progress according to you, which we appreciate that you can follow our activities. Our interest we have is just to inform the Liberian people like you. So we share the same a single goal for our country too, because an uninformed population is at risk in terms of making informed decisions. So we see it as a civil duty to do, and we do it passionately. We do it without asking for cent or any favor in kind. So we are humbled that you follow through. Thank you for that.
Thank you so very kindly. So today we are going to be discussing a lot of things, and as you may be aware, these are not some of the most, one would say, peaceful moments in our nation.
Yeah,
Like somebody said the last time, we are in a kind of civil unrest.
yeah.
The situation that we find ourselves in is so terrible to the extent that every morning we wake up is either, from one problem to the other, from one problem to the other. But
Hmm.
again, our responsibility, like you said earlier, is to inform our people. We are not here to instill fear. We are not messengers of doom, but we are here to give you the information so you can adequately guard yourself and make the right decision as we move forward. So I want to begin with our first story that we have up here that has to do with what is happening, especially at the level of the lower house. We all know that story. We've been following
Yeah.
the story over and over. But the reason why we'll continue to talk about this story is because
Mm-hmm.
it is becoming very serious and it is
Yeah.
taking away a lot from us as a nation, as a people.
Yeah.
Internationally, is damaging our image. It has put a lot of dint on our own democratic credential that actually we have enjoyed over the period of some years, especially under the government of His Excellency President Dr. George Manuel Weah, where we
Yeah.
experienced, an unprecedented, one would say, freedom, where people
Mhm.
could express their dissatisfaction, even lawmakers who were actually against, or in other words, had a critical view of the CDC-led government. They also enjoyed that particular conducive atmosphere. They could criticize the government and nothing will become of them. But today, what we are experiencing, group of people put themselves together, calling themselves, quote unquote, majority, calling themselves majority. And these people have take or have, allocated unto themselves undue power that they can do anything and nothing will come from inside. So I want us to start from this. Recently, we saw that the so-called lawless majority did a communication, and then they sent this communication to the ECOWAS, requesting, for those that were elected, duly elected, so to speak, and sent
Mhm.
at that body, they're requesting that they be removed or be sent back. And while in that particular, let's say, mood, we saw a
Mhm.
communication from ECOWAS to the government of Liberia, informing the government of Liberia that that is not the way things are done. In fact, that is a very organized body. They have their own laws, they have rules and regulation, and they are
Yeah.
not going to be like a junta organization that will just wake up one morning and just take a decision and do whatever they want to do. I want
Yeah.
you to tell us, what is the implication, whether be it negative or positive, that particular communication has on us as a nation, on the country, I mean, on our democratic profile. Tell us, just walk us through within the next 2 minutes. Again, I want to welcome my brother Frank. My brother Frank, you are welcome. And all of you who are joining us, I want to say you are highly welcome. Sabina, you are welcome. Boema, you are welcome. Joanna, you are welcome. Collie, all of you, I mean, all of you are welcome. So tell us, what
Mhm.
is it that it is having on us as a people and as a nation? Let's hear from you, sir, in the next 2 minutes, and then we'll transition to our brother. Welcome again.
Yeah, Prince. This is a national shame, a national embarrassment, a national disgrace on the collective conscience of all of us, regardless if you are a lawmaker or not. The fact that you're a Liberian citizen, what is happening on Capitol Hill is a national embarrassment that we must be ashamed of. The ECOWAS Parliament is not strange to Liberia. We have been in the ECOWAS Parliament from its formative stage. And there are rules, there are policies, there are procedures that Liberia is abreast with, especially our national legislature. These guys are not ignorant to the law. They are aware of the law. If you want to replace a representative or a senator, or for the collective war, a legislature, or at the ECOWAS Parliament, a legislator, you must give reasons for that. And there are spelled out reasons in the ECOWAS Parliament. Example, death. Death is one. If a lawmaker dies, that person is automatically replaced by the host country. Resignation. The parliament is clear that if Eric Perry resigned as a legislator in the Republic of Liberia and I was representing Liberia at the ECOWAS, Eric must be able to submit my letter of resignation to the parliament of ECOWAS, informing them that I've resigned. The Liberian legislature will also send a communication confirming my resignation before they talk about replacement. Another form that another instance is if you were defeated in your constituents during the election. Obviously, you cannot be representing your country if you are not representing a constituent in your district. So these are spelled out issues that are very clear. The next one is if the person is being expelled or impeached and removed as a legislator. Now, ECOWAS replied to our national legislature informing them that none of these things, none of these listed criteria, were met before you replace. And I must give Senator Snow the credit. Senator Snow has earlier on informed them that do not attempt to disgrace the country by writing ECOWAS that you want to recall and replace legislators at the ECOWAS parliament, because the basis for that is completely absent. You can walk around someone and say you call yourself speaker and therefore you want to replace people. No, it doesn't work that way. They were warned. Not that they are not in the know, but because these guys are so power drunk. Already they are acting, they are functioning illegally backed by the executive, which is no surprise. But I'm excited that our judiciary is the only branch of government now that has gained some or that has shown some level of independence, even though their opinions and rulings are, disrespected, violated, ignored by the executive, but at least they have the courage to come down with the rulings, the opinions, and think that in my mind, align with what the rule of law says or what our constitution says. Okay, so if we have, like in the word of Yaka Koruba, a junta group that sees power, that is a coup. That's a coup. The ruling of the Supreme Court, the opinion of the Supreme Court was clear that the action of the quote-unquote majority bloc does not fall in line with our laid down constitutional requirement to remove a speaker. Yet the president invited his justice minister to mislead him. And this is the embarrassment. That's why when they sent those guys at the ECOWAS parliament, they were rejected. Do you know what that tells us? It tells us that we are unserious in our country. That's, people say it is always good to wash your dirty clothes indoor. But what we did was we sent our dirty clothes outdoor for ECOWAS to mock us at us. Liberia is the oldest independent republic on the continent of Africa. Those guys look up to us. We are the founding members of almost all the group on the continent of Africa, including the ECOWAS, including the AU. We are founding members. And people look up to us. How can we be belittled under a regime headed by a man who claims to have more than 40 years of solid experience in government? Under 1 year, almost all sector of this government has collapsed, including the branches. The executive is in disarray currently, corruptions and nepotism, lack of vision, all these things.
Now, if I may comment on this before we go to our brother Frank, I remember the U.S. ambassador, one of our strongest ally. I remember immediately leading to our elections, gave a very strong statement, hailing the we-are-led administration. I remember in that particular statement, they said our democracy is something that should even be enviable by other, Western world or even other African nations. And they praise us relative to, the way and manner in which we have managed our democracy under a we-are-led government. And he also talks about the freedom of press, where there were other people who even abused That particular right, according to McCarthy, the U.S. ambassador, he said there are other people who are sitting, in the comfort of their basement here in the U.S. and spewing things that will be able to cause chaos for our own country. So we saw that our democracy was to some extent taking root, especially under a government with the absence of unmill. Not like Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government that we had unmill around, that we receive all of these accolades and people were actually praising freedom of the press and etc. etc. Now that we are seeing that the executive is using our hands to subdue the other two branches of government so that they can be the only one to say A and A is done, B and B is done. Do you think that this particular behavior of the current executive is going to take away from us as it relates to maybe investment? Because investors are looking for a conducive atmosphere where the government is functional, where they feel that their investment will be secure to go and invest. But with this kind of things that is happening, you think it also take away from our investment also and discourage investors?
It does. And this is what I would say to you. McCarthy was right. Uh, uh, Former President Weah democratic credential is unmatched. The level of tolerance under President Weah, we have never seen it anywhere on the continent of Africa, where protesters will go and be chanting anti-government slogans, misbehaving on the street, and the government under President Weah were feeding those people, were giving them food, giving them water, providing protection for them, respecting their rights to free speech as enshrined in our Constitution. Today, we see the reverse of that. When people protest, they are beaten, they are imprisoned, they are killed. Evidence, the protest. In fact, that was not even a protest. In King Jaw, the people have petitioned the government to say, look, bad labor practices, exist in this B Mountain company. Do something about it. You send the AFL, you send the PSU, you send the ERU, and what happened led to the death of our people. People were brutalized. George Weah has always proven to be a man of peace, a man of democracy. When he won the election, what was the first step he did? He went to the vice president at the time who contested and came second. He went to him, he drove to him, he and his wife. They sat down, they have a reconciliatory conversation. Say, look, I will always come to you, for opinion. In his first year, that was just not a showmanship. He was only here first year. He invited Joe Boakai at the executive mansion, okay, or at the time the foreign affairs where the president was working from at the time, and they sat down and they discussed this country, the welfare of our country. That's why a president who respects the rule of law, who respects tolerance, who value people's opinion. That's what said president do. But when Boakai won the election, what did he do to reach out to his competitor? President Weah accepted the result even before it was announced. Unprecedented. Never happened before. The NEC has never announced the final result. President Weah conceded, congratulated Joe Boakai. Up to now, Joe Boakai has not placed a phone call to President Weah. Let's talk about to invite him at the mansion to say, let's sit down. What do you have? How can we move our country forward?
Thank you.
Just before I take leave of you, people are being arrested, taken to police custody, dying. They are dying in police cells. Dying in police cells. What does that say? At the end of this March or early April, the U.S. State Department will be releasing her human rights report. That report will be horrible. Before investor come to a country, you talk about whether investment will come. Before investor come to your country, the first piece of paper they take to read is your human rights credential. Do you respect the rights of people? Before they come to your infrastructure to know if you have electricity, you have rural connectivity, and all the kind of thing. They look at your respect for human rights. They look at your judiciary independence. Those are things that they look at. And right now, if any investor would take any of these documents to read, it's going to be horrible. That's why we're going 14 months into Joe Boakai. We do not have a single company that Joe Boakai has informed to say this company came under my regime and is providing jobs.
Thank you so much. We'll hold you there. Let's go to our brother Frank. My brother Frank, welcome. I'm very sure you're listening to our brother Eric. The same goes to you. You did something, or you wrote something there that is very interesting. You said Liberia is a handicapped nation. For the next 6 good years, will be handicapped. But we all saw what is happening. We are witnessing what is happening from the level of the executive. We are seeing that the executive want to have total control. They want to control things to the extent that Mr. Boyka will use Jeremiah Koon and other people to ensure that he have his complete will. Only for him to summon out and say, "No, I don't know about it. What the thing be happening? I don't know about it." This is scaring for us as a nation. If
Yeah.
you, the president, will be in a country where all of these things are happening to the extent that at a certain point in time, we saw almost that the government was almost shut down with this thing that is happening at the lower house. And you coming to tell the Liberian people or the world that you are not aware, you know about it, knowing very well that you are the head of the government. You are the representation of Liberia, of the
Mhm.
government of the Republic of Liberia, the head of state. You are the representation of the government out there, whether we like it or not, all of the other branches you represent them. So to see these kind of things happening, and with the presence of ECOWAS sent a delegation to Liberia so that they could mitigate the situation, they could try to resolve the situation. Mr. Boyka ordered his so-called majority people and say, "You're not listening to ECOWAS, you forget about the people." These people came, they tried to intervene, there were no way. My brother, tell me, of all of these things, my brother Frank, that is happening, what do you make of this thing? Because it's really taking toll on us as a nation, as a people. This something is something that we can't just sweep behind the carpet and not 1 hour discussion or 1 day discussion. Tell me what is happening with this. What is it taking away from us, and what we stand to lose or to gain from all of these games that Mr. Boyka is playing and pretending like he is not even aware of what is happening? Let's hear from you, my brother.
Thank you so much, Brother Prince, and thank you, Eric, to be on for being on the show. Brother Prince, we stand to gain nothing, and we stand to lose everything.
Yeah.
Now, I did write something which I said Liberia is a handicapped nation for the next 6 years, and indeed, Liberia is a laughable nation at this time, and it's going to be a laughable nation for the next 6 years. Liberia is a neglected state, a neglected nation, and it is going to be a neglected nation for the next 6 years. Liberia is a failed state, and it's going to be a failed state for the next 6 years. Now, let me remind Liberia, during the campaign, people were not listening. Just as Nyuma Boakai said something. He said, you got 4 more months to the elections, right? And people were there clapping, yeah. And then he said, counting from today's date, after the election, if I win, Liberia will be a different nation. He said it. He said Liberia will be a different nation. Different from what the people enjoyed. Different from what the world saw as a nation of people heading somewhere for progress. He said Liberia will be a different nation. And people did not understand. Maybe people got it, but it's still clap for him. Now, after the war and subsequent to 2017-2018 election, when President George Manneh Weah came to power, the world stood and saw Liberia as a nation of democracy. And the entire African continent, videos are there. We saw videos. The African continent, nations in Africa were saying, if anyone want to follow the model of democracy, it should be Liberia. And subsequent to the 2023 election, again, it was given to Liberian and said, yes, I want to move to Liberia. I want to be a Liberian. I am proud to be an African, but yes, if I was going to be a Liberian, I was going to be more proud. We saw African nation and African activists, other people, even journalists. We are saying this is the kind of democracy in Liberia that we want in this country. Now, the war or the continent or African nation expected, so-called, as they say, for the 2 years old experienced man to leave that legacy, a legacy that he did not put, but an uneducated man put that for him, as they said, or as they say. A common man who did not understand governments or policy, as they say, put that for him. And the world recognized that common man. The world recognized that uneducated man who laid down a leadership model, who defined, I'm not saying Western democracy, but who defined African democracy as an African way. And African were proud. And I can tell you, under President George Manneh, we are leadership. The world, not only Africa, the world was proud of the kind of democracy role Liberia played in Africa, that all African nations saw it and were copying that model. The world was proud of Liberia. So today, for a man they claim who has spent 42 years, now 47 or 46, whatsoever, a government they claim that they are educated, they are well educated. A government they claim they know the history of Liberia. They know the role Liberia has played in memorial when it comes to peacemaking process or body in Africa. When it comes to African nations or the continent holistically getting independent, they know the role Liberia has played. But I can tell you, Liberia has been demoted just from an ECOWAS summit, just from an ECOWAS meeting. Liberia has lost her position. And the time is running faster. If you lost your position and other nations take that position, you may not get it back. You have to work for it before you get it back. And that's the position, that's the stage we're in. You cannot tell me these people who claim to be educated, these people who claim to be that they went to the best schools, these people who claim that they will take the nation forward, you cannot tell me they did not read what is written in the guideline of ECOWAS or even AU. You cannot tell me they did not read it before going there. You cannot tell me they did not read it even before writing letter. It did not make sense. It did not give any reasons to even write letter to ECOWAS. If only you knew what ECOWAS stands for, if only you read what is written within ECOWAS guideline when it comes to these circumstances. Now, you are warm, and you went in that area. You sat in that meeting, and you sent people there, knowing very well it is a sin ECOWAS that is standing against the kind of a government in the AES, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. And what you did, it is the same as a junta. It is the same as a coup d'etat, because you did not remove an elected official to power constitutionally, but unconstitutionally. Meanwhile, this may even travel out of the country. Why out of the country? On a detail for the nation. You try to overtake him. You try to overthrow him. And the world watch again. As you try to remove him, you did not get the number of people constitutionally to remove him. What you did, the world sat and watched you, and you start bribing people, level of money, and the world saw it. And then you wrote a letter, sending it to ECOWAS, sending your own delegate. When ECOWAS know the current speaker, the elected speaker, the constitutional speaker is still there, have not resigned, did not get this position out, did not say, you know what, I will leave and let these people run, let these people go. And you got them. and ignored it and went to the ECOWAS parliament, went to the ECOWAS to represent Liberia, knowing very well when it comes to ECOWAS, when it comes to AU, Liberia stand a first clear-cut chance. I mean, first class. Because history tells us most of those meetings that ECOWAS have, most of those meetings that AU have, most of them were right in Sanukuri, Nimba County. And the evidence are there that Kwame Nkrumah, Liberia was their home. Most of those people, Liberia was their home. Jomo Kenyatta, Liberia was their home. Most of the meetings were here. If we didn't know the history of the Casablanca and the Morovia group, the next time they're going to ECOWAS or AU, they will go as the father of AU. They will go as the father of ECOWAS. But as we speak now, the stage these people have put us in, they put Liberia in a laughable mood that no one respects us. No one absolutely respects us. Even if he leaves and the next government to come in, they have to fight for that seat. They have to fight for that place again. And that's the kind of area this government have poured in. And we have now become a laughable and a handicapped nation.
Thank you so very kindly. My brother Eric, I want to go to you so that we can round this up and move to the next issue.
Yeah.
Liberia is bidding to have the non-permanent seat at the Security Council.
Yeah.
President Weah did an exceptionally great job, for which at the time, it was announced that, Liberia was going to have the slot to take over as, a non-permanent member on the Security Council. That work was sealed. It was done. President Weah did all of the heavy lifting and everything. All was remaining was Liberia go and get your place. But with all of what is happening, disrespect for the rule of law, the president have shown absolutely no energy in order to unite his people. We are seeing this man leading as if Liberia is his farm or maybe his house where he can take any decision, anything happening. We are seeing gross disrespect, the level of corruption, etc., police brutality, and etc. With this hinder Liberia's opportunity or chances to, sit at that particular prestigious level to serve as a non-permanent member in the Security Council. With all of these things that we see happening, the executive meddling in the lower house, they trying to arm towards the judiciary branch and etc. Will this have an effect on us? Will it take away from us? Do you think that all of the work that His Excellency President we have done to ensure that we have this thing on just a silver platter, do you think, are you afraid of anything, or you think, this is not going to be any problem? Let's hear from you, sir.
Well, the first thing we need to look at is who did President Boakai submit at the United Nations representing Liberia? He submitted a man that is indicted in the TRC report for economic sabotage. This man plundered our resources, noted for his involvement in our conflict with the MPFL. The man is indicted, Louis Brown. He is a TRC inductee. In Liberia, he's the arrowhead that should be making the case for Liberia to win or gain her seat at the non-permanent level when it comes to the Security Council. What credential does he bring there when he himself is an inductee of the TRC report that the very United Nations and other armed help to to support so that they can investigate and prosecute all those that supported war in our country. It's one of those, Louis Brown. What are the indicators that the UN will look at before they can qualify you? They look at your human rights credential. You cannot be a non-permanent on the United Nations Security Council and you have deplorable human rights credential. They don't want that. They don't want that. But what is happening in our country today? The flagrant disrespect and disregard, if I would say, of the rule of law is so pervasive. It's so pervasive and unprecedented in our country history that it would take a miracle for Liberia to win that seat. I don't want bad for my country, but again, we can deceive ourselves. Our country is in a mess. Our country is lawless. It's like no one is in charge. We have not even faced or addressed our security threat. We have not addressed the rule of the government that should be protecting the rule of law, ensuring the rule of law exists, is the very government undermining the rule of law. So, what the essence of Liberia being on the National Security Council to do what? To do what? You just want a name on you when the impact is not showing in your own home. So, and some of us, we have reached the point that we will be writing the United Nations so that they do not waste their time by naming Liberia on the National Security Council, at the non-permanent level. And you are right. President Weah did the heavy lifting. Under his watch, we had no prisoner or political prisoner. The rule of law was respected. The freedom of speech was even misused and abused by the people. Yet, everyone was free to express his or her opinion on national issues. I'm not a fan of Madam Salif, but Madam Salif lifted the bar. But President Weah took it to the roof, all through the roof. And now what we are experiencing now is Boakai is bringing it below 6 feet. Below 6 feet. I would have thought that, okay, President, we have to get to the roof. Even if Joe Boakai Westgate, because I knew this man would not have performed, given his track record. Everywhere the man headed was a mess. Everywhere he headed was a mess. And there was nothing to show. Even his role as vice president, he said he was OK Park, even though he pocketed millions of dollars for budgetary support. So it was easy to predict the failure, but at least he would have taken, our international acclaimed theme that we have on Madam Salif and President Weah. We would have thought that every we can maintain it, he wouldn't have gone below F surface.
So,
but now
to
he has
just
buried
put
that.
this in while you summon this, the Ghanaian speaker is in Liberia, and the so-called lawless majority are also having this quote-unquote retreat, which they are spending enough money on. What do you make of this? You think this is going to yield any result? I mean, with the
Look,
presence of Ghanaian,
no, the Ghanaian
parliament
speaker, let me be
things?
on record. The Ghanaian speaker is wasting his own time in Liberia. I have said that. I think this is a safari trip that he's on to socialize. I don't see there be no impact for him because he's even contradicting himself in Liberia. At one point in time, he said legislative disputes should be resolved through the rule of law, through the court. And another, in the very at the very occasion, he says legislative issue should not go to court. I honestly don't know. I have zero regard for this man. I have zero regard. This was the same man who officially invited Speaker J. Fonati Kofa to attend the inauguration of President John Mahama. And he got a call from Monrovia here. Without consulting his embassy to know the legitimate speaker, he went and rushed and gave letter to Koon. He gave two persons the same letter as speaker. And Speaker Kofa, being a very diplomatic and non-disruptor, he decided, even though he was already in Ghana, he decided to disengage. This man came Monrovia here and say he meeting President Boakai, he meeting how you call majority block and all those kind of block. What impact? This issue is before our Supreme Court. The Ghanaian Parliament Speaker is wasting his time. There's no mediation right now that he can do. He's not going to rewrite history here for us. You think Koon gonna listen to him to say I will disengage and respect this? If Koon cannot respect our highest decision-making body, the Supreme Court in Liberia opinion, that Ghanaian speaker he will go listen to. Didn't ECOWAS come Liberia from the genesis of this thing to have a mediation, and those guys decided to disrespect ECOWAS? The very guys that are now saying having they suspended almost all the minority bloc members, including Yeke Koruba, Abu Kamara, and the rest of them, including even Speaker Kofa. They suspended the man and say he's not going to session. When the Supreme Court has said what you having down there is not session because you do not have the legitimacy. They are withholding people's salary on the strength of Joe Braga. You can't be urinating on our laws and be saying you want reconciliation. Look at the reconciliation. Who are those in attendance? Is it not all the majority members? Did you see any minority representative there? Zero. So the Ghanaian speaker, I think he got bored in Ghana and needed time to just come enjoy his life. And that's why he's passing around. But he's not a serious person down there for us. Nobody's going to take that man serious. He's competent.
My brother Frank, the same goes to you. The Speaker of the Parliament of Ghana is in Liberia, according to him, to see how best he can mitigate, with this whole stuff. We are talking about Liberia having a permanent seat on the or non-permanent, a seat on the Security Council as a non-permanent member. What is going on? Will this affect us as a nation? Will it boost our own, maybe one would say our democratic record? With even people listening to us, I saw that the Foreign Affairs Minister, Madam Bestro Nyanti, I think she's in Mali or so, or one of those countries, trying to bait or trying to, do her own, one would say negotiation or behind the scene, talking so that people can be able to give us that opportunity. With all these things happening, you think we are really ready? Our behavior is showing, our governance process is showing that particular responsible nature that people can entrust us with all these things. Let's hear from you, my brother.
Thank you so much, Brother Prince. If I were Boakai or if I were the president and what is going on in Liberia under my watch, I wouldn't waste my time going to the United Nations because it will bring shame to my government, because it will just be another event that we have embarked on, and then at the end of the day, it is not fruitful, and then Liberian have to talk about it again, that, oh, this app on my resume, I went to this area to advocate for this, for this, for that, and it did not bring anything to the nation. If I were the government, I would never undertake that journey. I will back up from that journey based on what is going on. But let's continue here. You see, I will tell you this, Brother Prince. Liberia shouldn't waste their time for this non-permanent seat. You will not get it. And I repeat, you will not get it. Now, this is not to say we want to bomb off Liberia. This is not to say we do not want to see good things happening to Liberia. But come on, man, folks. You have to be wise and see what is going on around you. One of our permanent members in Liberia, permanent citizens in Liberia, despite what she has done to the country, despite what the country feels about her, despite what citizens feel about her, what she has done to her people, but she's a permanent citizen that the world look at when it comes to certain things in our country. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, she have made her statement. You think she don't know what she was talking about when she made that statement the last time we spoke about? This woman have already spoken her mind. She have already told Liberian that expect nothing good from this government. Expect nothing good from this government, from this 6 years leadership. Liberia is on her own. She told you. Let us be mindful and listen to certain people in the country. Now, that we say this, you look at one of a prominent citizens, not only Liberia, but for the world, and United Nations citizens for that matter. You disregard him. You threaten him. You give him protection not. President George Manuel Weah. Do you know the role he played on the United Nations? Do you know how the United Nations respect and honor this man? Do you know how the United Nations watch this man? Do you know the threats these men have received that the United Nations know about? Do you know that this man alone can recommend Liberia to the United Nations and the United Nations listing to that non-permanent seat? Just President George Manuel Weah alone.
Yeah.
You know. But no, you put yourself in an upward, backward movement and you expect Liberia to go to the United Nations and the United Nations get a seat. And let me say this first. If they do not know, position of such, position of caliber, it entails lobbying. It entails lobbying. Who is going to lobby for Liberia? Who is going to lobby for Liberia? It is not a first-time ECOWAS having issue with Liberia. The entity that's supposed to lobby for you, the ECOWAS body that's supposed to lobby for you. It is an ECOWAS body that have issues with you. It is an ECOWAS body that have rejected you. It is an AU body that have rejected you. Who's going to honor you over there? Who's going to accept you? Who's going to lobby for you when the entity that's supposed to lobby for you, the entity have rejected you in their own little corner in Africa? Now, let's go further into this. This is not the first time again ECOWAS representatives have been in Liberia. It was the same President George Manuel Weah who went to ECOWAS and led Boakai, his government, complained to ECOWAS that Boakai is hunting his political party. Boakai is hunting certain people in Liberia that have a constitutional position, unremovable position, that these people are connected to CDC, and you're removing them. Harassing CDC, going to the people headquarters, harassing them. It was the same President George Manuel Weah led complaint, and ECOWAS came in again. Yet the state, this man did not listen. The world is watching. You went unconstitutionally, you want to remove speaker. This world did not listen. They know that your government is a government of arrogance. They know that your government is a government of breaking rule of law. Who want to give you that kind of position when the outside world already have a bad notion about African leaders, about the African continent? They say we do not have leadership capability. And you are carrying your own country where citizens are not even looking at one another. I mean, everyone just angry. You cannot manage 5,000 or 5 million people, let's say. You can manage 5 million people. Are you going to manage the war? You cannot represent 5 million people. Are you going to represent the African continent? Come on, man. I'm not looking down on Liberia, but there are better nations. There are greater nations that can go and represent the African continent for a non-permanent seat. Not Liberia under this government. I'm sorry for that.
Thank you so much,
let me end with the speaker or whosoever lawmaker that is coming from Ghana.
That is in Liberia. He's already in Liberia.
All right. Yes, the fact here is this man is good for him. He can put it on his resume. I mean, who don't want to bear a resume? Anybody want to bear a resume? He can bear a resume to say I was in Liberia for a period. I was in Liberia because they could not handle issues within their parliament. I have to come from Ghana as a parliamentarian to go and talk about their constitutional issue. That alone is a disgrace. Will Liberia leave from here to go solve a constitutional crisis, constitutional issue, parliamentary issue in Ghana? Let him bear a resume and leave.
Thank you so much, my brother. On this, I think is very disgraceful. You know, I listening to a music from Lucky Dube, may his ashes rest in peace. He said in one of the lines, I'm not very good at this reggae music, but you know, some I take it. He said, it takes 1 million people to build up a good reputation, but it takes one stupid fool who will just come from somewhere, maybe he come from drinking pan one or whatever, and we just can just destroy it. Everything that you suffer for, we just come and destroy it one time. You see that song? It takes a million people to build up a good reputation, but it takes one stupid fool, etc., etc. I don't know it like that. I am not saying this to try to insult anybody, but it is what is happening now in Liberia. It took our collective effort for the past 12 years under Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. President Weah played a pivotal role to the peace
Yes.
of that particular country. That he
Yes.
was even named as the peace ambassador of the Republic of Liberia. Not only that, when Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf took over at the time, and she needed the international support in terms of finance, it was President Weah's hands that she held at the time and said, Mr. Ambassador, I'm begging you, Papa, as the major opposition leader, please help me. Let's go to the international people. Let's talk to them. Let the people know that we are one. We are in peace here. We are not running behind each other. We are not doing this. And it took President Weah to go with Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to appeal to the world. President Weah was the face of peace. He was the face of unity. He was the face of that particular lobbying that Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did to receive all of the amount that Joseph Nyuma Boakai admitted that they squandered. He said they squandered the money, they squandered the opportunity. It took President Weah serving as a goodwill ambassador for the UN. He went around to lobby it so that Liberia can have that particular blessing. And we saw what happened. Even though Ome was in Liberia, but look, my people, I can show you other countries that they get plenty of peacekeepers in now, can stay cracking there. The people stay firing gun.
Yeah.
So it was not a holistic guarantee that because Ome in Liberia that what peace was there. It was because President Weah was able to manage the men who went in the gutters, who went in the trenches to talk to people who held arms and say, you put your arm down. So when the people who held the arm, those kids who held arms, when they saw the men who went to them in the trenches being pat and telling them, say, you're cool down, that was cool, everything down, even under the control of the Ombil. And this is a man who 2 different assassination attempts was carried on by this Boakai-led administration.
Yeah.
The first one when he was in the air,
Yeah.
his plane. They denied that his plane will not land.
Yes.
It happened. The second one when he came, they say AFL soldier in a country that is run by a civilian government. Then you get AFL people holding gun and passing around, and to the extent that that day would have been very, 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 I don't know, very deadly and very bloody, so to speak. But President Weah was able to manage it. 2 different assassination attempts under
Yeah.
the Joseph Nyuma Boakai government. It takes our collective effort. When President Weah became president, we saw him having meetings with other opposition leaders. In fact, the first 2 months in office, he called a meeting of all major opposition leaders in Liberia and said, let's sit down. Let's discuss. Darius Delon is on record of walking out of that meeting. The meeting that you can remember. You walk out of the meeting and say blah, 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 and whatever. But he called all political leaders. I remember after that meeting, there was another economic, how you call, I'm forgetting, symposium that was held. In fact, Alexander Cummings was written by President Weah that Mr. Cummings, please, I want you to come to see how best you can be able to help. Let's all come together and we all know the communication that Mr. Cummings sent, but that is that. So we saw President Weah making every effort to bring on board the opposition. And that was how, under that particular regime, we saw a quietness. We saw people even threatening the life of the sitting president. For example, Darius Delon, who said they will not know where arm will come from, and etc. But the country was peaceful. We were heading towards the progress and the peace. And our nation was being envied by the way we respect each other. We saw a collaborative spirit amongst oppositions. We saw opposition speaking in one voice. Even though some, they were very distracted. We saw people saying they will drag President Weah here down and whatever, whatever. But today we are seeing a government that is even witch hunting opposition leaders. that is running after people, that the opposition now they are running after them. This is scary. This is scary for our country. This is now where we want Liberia to be. And with this kind of thing, you don't encourage any investor. With what is happening, you don't encourage anybody. These people campaign that, oh, President, we have to, where's the job? Where's the company? Since Boakai took over, Boakai make us to understand the videos are here. He said he get friends. These are one of the things the beat on President we have for, oh, no, where the company that coming in? Oh, even though we can name company that came in. But since Boakai took over, let them tell us, where are the companies? The last time we checked, HPX was just a scheme. That's the last time we checked. I don't know if anybody can bring the list of any company that we know of, but it is a sad time.
But in fact, it was not the government. It was not this government that brought HPS. By the way.
In fact, they are not even there. Yeah, sure, definitely.
Yeah.
That arrangement
Yeah.
started, a long honor. It's not even coming. But
Yeah.
like I said, it takes 1 million people. It took our
Yeah.
collective effort to reach where we are. But look at now, we are retrogressing, and I can say this sadly, we are retrogressing. But I want to play a video. I want us to look at this second issue. Mr. Koon left from Liberia. According to him, he was coming here to attend some kind of NEJ, whatever summit. As I speak to you, Mr. Koon have not given us any report of that particular summit that he has come to attend. Nobody in the Unity Party government can tell us that the Mecca, this is A, this is Z, this is B that they discuss.
Yeah.
When he came here, these were the issues that were looked at, and he met with this person. This is a speech. In fact, at the summit, I'm looking for the speech that he gave. Up to now, I've not even seen it on the executive mansion, or I've not even seen it. But Liberians, what is interesting, my brother Eric, and this is to you, Liberians gather. There was this town hall meeting they said they were having for Liberians. There were some Liberians who've gathered. I was among them. Many other Liberians gathered to go there as usual to exercise their democratic
Right.
franchise,
Yeah.
which President Weah has encouraged in that country
Yeah.
without chasing behind anybody, without denying anybody. They enjoyed that for the 6 years. They enjoy it.
Yeah.
But Liberians gather and decided to express in a peaceful manner, in a democratic manner, their dissatisfaction on how this government is leading. They were asked out. Based on that frustration, there was an interview that was held with the Vice President, Jeremiah Koon. And I want to play this. I want to bring this on, and I'm going to play this so that we can listen.
Okay.
And he made a statement. I don't know whether this statement was out of frustration, out of what, or because he has failed to do what is right, and Liberians decided to express their own dissatisfaction. But this was the statement that I want to play here. And I want for Liberians to listen. I know this is all over, but that's what we do here. We play these things so that our people can listen. And I want you to listen to Jeremiah Koon. I thought this man should be talking about the progress of the so-called meeting that he came here in the States for. That is the Energy Summit, or what he discussed with Liberians in the town hall. But this man decided to attack His Excellency President Dr. George Manneh Weah, a man who has made tremendous impact that will never be erased from the surface of the earth. I say Liberia. I don't want to limit it to Liberia. But these were the words of Mr. Koon, and I want to play it here for our people to listen.
We are back, so we're not equal. I'm the 15th vice president. The first thing, I should not vote to win for president. Right. I'm the 17th vice president. President, a common citizen of president. When I'm driving, going to work, we are back, so we're not equal. I'm the 15th vice president. The first thing, I should not vote to win for president. Right. I'm the 17th vice president. President, a common citizen of president. When I'm driving, going to work, we are back, so we're not equal. I'm the 15th vice president.
My brother Eric,
Yeah.
you listening to this statement coming from Mr. Koon. Mr. Koon did not take the time to inform the Liberian people who pay away, because the money where you used to come America here, the Liberian people money. The people who sent him, that the Liberian people sent him, he did not take his time to explain to the Liberian people what was the progress of that particular meeting. What were some of the issues that he puffed up for Liberia? But this man decided. After, according to him, he wrote and said there were 6 Liberians, but they are Liberian at least.
Yeah.
After Liberians went there to ask him to do what is right,
Yeah.
this man decided, because in his mind he's so naive and think that as Liberians we have no right to disagree or to call on our government to do what is right. He went and attacked His Excellency President Dr. George Manuel Weah. What do you make of this statement coming from the sitting vice president of the Republic of Liberia, fighting for a place, fighting for permanence? Let's hear from you, my brother. What do you make of this statement?
I mean, Prince, you're right. The first thing is thousands of United States dollars, our government spent on Jeremiah Koon to come to America and present a Liberia case. Whatever reason he got here for, though his office or the executive mansion or the Republic of Liberia through Ministry of Information, they are yet to inform us as it relates to the outcome, the benefit, because usually when you come on this trip, you have to write a report to tell the government to say, look, this is what we gained. This is, what we did and all kind of thing. Because taxpayer money were being used. His presence here, thousands and thousands of dollars was used on him. And what are the outcome of his meeting? One, he came, Liberian protested against him. Two, he came and he comparing how he more relevant than President Weah. But let's go to our constitution. Article 1 of the Liberian 1986 constitution says, all power is inherent in the people. It did not say it's inherent in the president or the vice president. So if a vice president, all he concerned about is about breaking of his convoy, that tells you his priorities are misplaced. We did not elect you to brag about your convoy. What is convoy? President Weah, convoy, those things don't impress President Weah anymore. There's a man who been in convoy prior to becoming president. This is a man who has met kings and presidents and all over the world. He's been followed, he's been adored, he's been admired, he's been praised. His convoy move and all of that. He's not bothered about those things. We didn't let Joe Boakai and Jeremiah Koon to brag about when the convoy pass, people pack. That's not the essence of for Liberians standing on long queue, for hours and being bitten by mosquitoes and pushed around. And some people lost their phone. Some people were beating on the line, all kind of thing. For Jeremiah Koon to brag about convoy. Who is Jeremiah Koon? If you in America here like me, if I go and say Jeremiah Koon and who can identify him? You referring to Ambassador Weah, United Nations Good Ambassador to Liberia. 1995 FIFA Ballon d'Or, world best, European best, 3 times African best, former senator, former president. Do you understand the credential that man has? And yet and still he does not even brag about those things. He doesn't. President Weah is extremely blessed to the extent that even his children are blessed. Look at his son, Timothy Weah. He plays for a top team in Italy, nearly Juventus. He makes millions of dollars. Koon can live with how you call him, with Timothy Weah. He can live with Timothy Weah. And he should be comparing himself with people like Timothy Weah. He can live with Team Weah. You and President Weah, you're not on path with this man. You're not on path with this man. Who made Koon? What is Koon political script? Has this man ever been independent in his life other than riding on the sweat of a TRC in that warlord who killed a sitting president, Prince Johnson? Is it not a warlord, Prince Johnson, that made Koon relevant today? Has Koon ever in his life, on his own, walked through our political landscape and gotten elected with all the endorsement of how you call Prince Johnson. It even took George Weah and Prince Johnson to help him win the senatorial seat that he won before becoming vice president. Who is Koon? And it is a shame that the Liberian government will spend thousands of dollars on this man to come to America and represent the country, and all he brags about is convoy. When your convoy move people back, what nonsense is that? What kind of vice presidency is that? And in addition to that, the quote unquote Liberia, how you call it, the Union of Liberia that in America said they endorsed his presidential ambition for 2029. Can you imagine? You were elected as a vice president. You just gone 1 year, 5 years left. A certain president has not even informed the people whether he's running or not. And now you going to programs that endorsing you to run as president. What does that say to Liberia? Does it support our argument that the president, Joe Biden, has failed, that his vice president feels that he's not capable to contest in 2029, that he wants to replace him? Because if you want to replace your boss, it means your boss has poorly performed. Because his boss still has a constitutional mandate to contest in 2029, which he has not ruled out. But Jeremiah Koon is already accepting petition to run for president. That tells you how disgruntled and disorganized the entire government is. You and George Weah are equal. And I'm glad that the CDC has not even given relevance to the thing to officially respond to him as a party. Unlike, I think it was a subset in the CDC, the youth league, and that we just send the young people say, go talk with that man, saying he's your peer. Go talk with him. It is a disgrace for Jeremiah Koon. And the backlash of it, you see what Liberians doing? Liberians printing t-shirts now saying, I'm proud to be a common citizen. There's nothing wrong with being a common citizen. There's nothing wrong. But if you want to look down on people because, quote unquote, they are common, then who are you, by the way? Is it not the common citizen taxpayer that paying you, that pays your driver, that puts you on salary, the car that you in, the convoy that you brag about? Is it not our taxes paying you? The plane that you got into, have first class ride in America. I'm sure you use private jet because they have started using private jet. Something they were debating when George Weah was president, that it was wrong. It was it was insensitive to the economic part of the people they are doing it. Is it not the Liberian taxpayer money? And you come to America where you should have used that occasion to lobby for the country, to advance Liberia progress, given our economic stagnation. The UC, that Job USAID, as they call it, USAID has suspended all of purchasing Liberia. There's a budget deficit right now. It's not time for. We have expected that the vice president who have been meeting with people like Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, to say, look, our country, this is our case. And USAID pulling off, this is the void that has been created. We are not able to cope with this, given a country that we from Ebola, we from COVID, we from this, we from that. We were expected these are the kind of things that he would have been preoccupied with. But he used the occasion to say, when he convoy part job, we can stop. How does that address the bread and butter issue of our country? The latest report in Liberia says Liberia has fallen below the poverty line. We used to be 8, now we 7, and going below 6. We used to live on $1, now we live on less than $1. Walk on the street of Monrovia, pervasive poverty. Do you know how many requests we get on a daily basis? People begging, people asking, people starving, people going to bed with all food. Also, it's becoming the number 1 sickness in Liberia as a result of hunger. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, the SDGs, as we call it, Goal 1 and Goal 2 talks about end hunger, end poverty. The United Nations Development Goal will soon expire. What is Liberia progress in that direction? Poverty is prospering in our country. And the vice president is not worried, he's not concerned. Do you know what I mean? You have 5 million people in abject poverty. Even Joe Biden said a few days ago during his cabinet retreat that the young people that do not have jobs is a threat to their stability. They will move on them. And I must applaud the current opposition who have not even launched a protest, who have not called on the people to take the street. Because if we have a message that I from George, we are giving the people horrible conditions that they are now faced with. You think Jeremiah will be vice president? The next day that he will be out of that place. The country is fragile. Look at AFL. AFL left the Bible with a war tank, drove in Monrovia, beat on police officer, brutalized them. AFL and police were at each other's throat. Blood all on the street of our country. The motorcyclists today, they have announced endless protests in the country. Every day to march on the street, singing, chanting, saying, if you do not allow us, we pay our money to plow the streets of Monrovia. If you do not allow people, we lost.
Wow.
Threatening the state.
Thank
Do you know
you.
what that means? People were lost. We thought the vice president would be preoccupied by that. The national legislature, which is a bicameral legislature, is now a unicameral because the representative is in disarray. We have quote unquote 2 speakers. Supreme Court recognized one, Boakai recognized the other one. We were thought the vice president would have been preoccupied by that. But instead, he comes to America to announce his presidential ambition, to rain insult on Ambassador George Weah. Who does that? Who does that?
Thank you, my brother. Let me hold you there. Let's go to our brother Frank. My brother Frank, the vice president of the Republic of Liberia, the man who is being paid by the common people, the man who the marketeers there, we have to pay their taxes indirectly or directly so that he can be paid. This man come to the United States here, where electricity now has become almost like the most, I don't know.
It's non-existent, brother. It's non-existent.
Yeah, anyway.
In fact, they just fired the LEC boss.
Yes.
They just fired the LEC boss and appointed another one. It's non-existent. Our people in heat and darkness.
This man is coming here, my brother Frank, to the United States, to a conference, knowing very well that about 50 or let's say $60 million have been taken away from our own budget. And they use it, cutting down whatever they had to cut down. You would think that this vice president should be meeting with key government officials here in the United States, making a case for Liberia, telling the world that my people need help. This is how we are affected. We ask for your help. This man came, and the only thing that he has to do was to sit down after Liberians expressed their dissatisfaction, was to sit down and speak rudely about a leader of the world. Because President Weah is not just Liberia leader, he's a world leader. My brother, what do you make of the statement coming from Jeremiah Koon? Let's hear from you.
Thank you so much, Brother Prince. When you put a naive man in such position, they do not really understand the title or the position to which they serve. Sometimes when you made the common man to see himself as being part of the elite, as we know in our country, elitism is a problem. So Jeremiah Koon, he's not seeing himself as being part of the elite of that country. So he's no longer a common man. It's very shameful and disgraceful to see another common man. But just because he has been recognized by the elite, he has been recognized in our class, he's now seeing another man of his as common man. But I will come to the common man issue because I really want to address that. Let me go back to the video. There are key points I want to make in that video before coming to the common man, because I have a question to ask Jeremiah Koon, what he means by common citizens. Now, going back to the videos, I watched the extended part of the video because it's kind of a little bit long. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Over the years, we have said, and these people, in fact, they have said, their aim is to dissolve the CDC political party. Their aim is for CDC to not survive in the next 6 years.
so that the CDC cannot compete with them. What I want to say here to quote unquote the common citizens, what I want to say in here to the quote unquote the ordinary citizens, this is deeper than you have ever thought or you ever think. What you see going on is, it is the political elite, it is the political class that do not want you to come back to power. Because once upon a time, you were in power. When your common leader, your common class leader told you, you shall no longer be a spectator, but you did not understand what he meant. You shall no longer be the spectator. Today, I want you to understand this. For Jeremiah Koon to say a common man is deeper than what you think. Now, going to the video, I will still come by, but going to the video, he made a statement by saying, couple of statement in there. In that video, he said, who is President Weah that I should go welcome him? What I want you to understand here is that statement came from, you remember the time Prince Johnson passed away. When President George Mane Weah went there, he wanted to shake President George Mane Weah hand. President George Mane Weah did at this to him, gave him a face, a handshake. But in this video, he said President George Mane Weah was never on the list. That means they never invited President George Mane Weah to be there. He was not on the program. He said it. He said President George Mane Weah was not on the program. But he said Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was on the program. And when Ellen came, he went to see Ellen. Now, they did not put President George Mane Weah there because it is a way of diminishing the CDC political party, dissolving the CDC political party, because for each time you have such occasion and you invite President George Mane Weah, the political standard bearer of the party, he go there, and also being a former president, he still have the right. He still need that protection. If he go there, Jeremiah Koon, security officer, have to recognize him. The same way they will recognize former Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. The same way they recognize her, they have to recognize President Weah like that. And if they keep recognizing President Weah like that, the CDC political party will stand. So for that reason, it's so necessary not to invite President George Mane Weah, not to put him on the program. Now, you say, if we put President George Mane Weah on the program, I have to go welcome him. Do I look like someone to welcome President George Mane Weah? I am the seated vice president. I cannot welcome him. Because if he's on the program, he come, I will have to welcome him. So he's a common man. So that when he see me, he even need to park his car. Now, before I come to the common man again, let me address issues here. You see, Jeremiah Koon, what you playing with? You people are the people that is putting the state in a position, the downward movement it is going. So are you telling me today what you said and what you are doing? If you leave power, that constitutional power should be taken from you. That constitutional mandate should be taken from you. Because if you leave power as a vice president, you still have the entitlement to protection. You still have the entitlement for security. And you still have the entitlement to be a certain event of such. You are still part of the decision-making body of that country, of that nation till you die. And you see, these are the kind of things President George Mane Weah tried to establish. When he was in power, he always brought Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. He always went to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. He always called Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. He always remembered Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. I can remember, I think, State of the Nation address or one of them. He even came late because he met President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf at that time. And when he came, he said, I am late because I have to meet the former president. So Jeremiah Koon, no matter what you do, you cannot bring the CDC down. And let me say this to the folks, the Liberian folks.
What you did not understand, or what you do not understand, is this. This is not about President Josh Manawia. President Josh Manawia has lived his life. He can decide, I don't want to be president. I don't want to be in a political arena. And I can tell you, this political elite will be happy because there will be no one to bring another common man. Because what they are doing right now is to take down President Josh Manawia, because before another common man rise up, it will take another decade before you see another common man again. But with President Josh Manawia in the sense of the political arena, he will motivate and inspire many common men to debate and compete with political power, with political state, with political opponents in the country. And that is what the political elite do not want. So they are trying so hard to diminish President Josh Manawia. They are trying so hard for you to see President Josh Manawia not as relevant in the country. But we said this. It is not about President Josh Manawia. It is about you, the next common man that is being inspired by President Josh Manawia, that if this man came from this area and became president and became senator, I can do it. You see people like Jeremiah Koon, a common man, but he feels that he's part of the elite or the elitism. These are the people that will not motivate you, that will not inspire you for you to come at the political scene of that country. But President Josh Manawia will inspire you. That is what he said. You will not be the spectator. I will bring you on board. There will be no, how they call it, age limit to the political seat or offices of this country. As long as you are qualified, it doesn't matter your age. As long as you are willing to work to move this country forward, it does not matter your age. And that is what the old folks did not like. They remove him. And that is why they are still preaching this hateful message. But let's go back to the common citizens. You see, Liberian, fellow Liberian, let me say this. Not everyone know why some of the sectors, why these people do not want to invest in education. Not everyone know why these people do not want to invest in the youth. Not everyone know why since 1847, the Liberian people have now witnessed any good development or human capital development in that country is one of the reasons. Now, let me say this to you. That is why Liberia, it is like that, because these people, they see us as non-entity. They see us as nothing. Because when you are common citizens, that means life is not for you. When you are a common citizen, that means development is not for you. When you are a common citizen, that means rule of law is not for you. When you are a common citizen, that means protection is not for you. When you are a common citizen, that means your voice will not be heard. When you are a common citizen, that means the political elite do not care about you. That is what a common citizen means. You will not have safe drinking water. You will not have education, quality education. That is why President Boakai came in and he preached. There will be no little girl on the street selling. People will be in school all over. Where other schools since he came in power, school can open. School open 1 month, the following 2, 3 months, 4 months is locked down. That is why when they came in, they failed to invest in vocational institutions. They remove the free wire fee. They remove tuition free. They remove it. That was for your own good, my President Josh Manawia said, you shall be no spectator, because these people are known not to recognize the common citizen. They do not see you as a citizens.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, my brother. To just weigh in on this before we go to our brother Eric to the next issue. You see, when you look at the Greek methodology, right? They had two citizens. They had the plebeians, and they had the nobles. These plebeians were not people who were, regarded, denied them of opportunity. In fact, they were almost at the bottom of the line. In other words, in our days, we say a common citizen. And I want to borrow from what my brother Frank is saying. Liberians. Now you are getting to know, because from the very beginning we told you that Mr. Boakai is just like a wolf in sheep clothing. That this man ideology is not with you. the common people. This man pretend to be like he is a common man. Don't mind that thing when he can be wearing Harley, that is a passing around. That man is a schemer. He's a schemer. His idea has always been this idea to suppress the common people for his own benefit. Joseph Nyuma Boakai does not believe in the liberalization policy. He does not believe in the rights of Liberians to excel. Don't believe in that. His mind is about up there, the people there who are well-to-do. He has that name Boakai, lead the name Boakai, but his attitude does not reflect Boakai attitude. His behavior does not reflect a Boakai behavior. Look at what happened. This man. You see, our people say monkey see, monkey do. Remember what Jeremiah Koon said in Nimba? He said, me, I'm a beg boy to Joseph Nyuma Boakai. He said, I do not even look at myself as a vice president. I'm a beg boy. So basically what he's saying is what he hear, what he learned, what he see, what he observed from Joseph Nyuma Boakai. To the extent that this man will look at his, let's put it this way, right, for the sake of this argument. His own brother, that all of them came from down the line, who struggle and look at you and say, come on. You know, those days when these, our so-called political elites, when they are using our word common, or even in our days, so you common security. That particular statement is used to downgrade you. I give an example in a security fee. All of you people can be security. When somebody can say, man, you move on here, man, you common security. They are bringing you down to the lowest level to make you look insignificant, that you have nothing to contribute, even though you're security man, or you ain't got nothing to contribute. You don't get no rank, you don't get no position. You're just common man. If I people talking, you're not supposed to talk when that word common is used. It is used to intimidate people. It has been used for a very, very long time. For example, those days the people used to change it. You helium, you know the people there, our people. Look at the helium, yeah, look at the helium. At the same thing where they change and say common. When those days they used to say this nikompu, that's how they used to call our parents.
Country chicken.
This nikompu, these country boys. Today, they have just changed it and say common. They believe that anything that is associated with the common people, they should suppress it, they should kill it. That's why you saw there was a vigorous collective approach by the so-called political elites supporting our own brothers who were ignorant against President Weah. Today, they are the one crying, Papi, sorry, we made mistake. Papi, sorry, we made mistake. The people use you against your own brother who is a commoner. It is only the commoner that understands the situation of the common man. Only the commoners. That's why you see those of us who do security, right? For example, if you are going on reconnaissance, you know why they sent you on reconnaissance? For you to go and know the area, how the people behave, how the people live, to know the area. So at least for those few months that you will be there, you can go and live with the people and understand how they, what they do, etc., etc. Then it will be easier for you to give information, for whatever is supposed to be. So the only person who understands you, Liberian, that the common man. The only person who can work to impact your life, that the common man. And now the common man that gave your children opportunity, say let them go to was free. And that the common man were able to give your children opportunity to go to the University of Liberia to go there for tuition free. And that the common man. And that the common man were building hospital for a man there and building marketplaces for a man there, so a man can be under the sun and be selling. And that were the common man, fellow Liberians, that say, look, everybody here must have the opportunity. They must speak their mind. Nobody must run behind anybody. And that the common man, they make you to go against the common man. Look, this thing that Jeremiah Koon said is deeper than what you are looking at. It is a system that they want to use to suppress you. It is a system that they want to use to deny you that you cannot excel. Anything you want to do to excel will bring you down. And these are the same people that were talking when President Weah brought in people like Jefferson Tabakoji, Mercy Kaba, etc., etc. What they want to know? Who are they? In fact, where they coming from? They get any job experience? They get working experience? For common men to bring your own children into government, they were versed with President Weah. But today, Joseph Nyuma Boakai has taken over. These same old crooks, these criminals that he referred to as people who were there holding laptop, and are the people he brought back. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not against people from the states. I believe that they are Liberians and some should go back to contribute. But most of these people Boakai is carrying back, they are going there with the intention to steal finally. That the thing we didn't get doing the 12-year man earning justice early,
Yeah.
let's get it.
Yeah.
But I want to pause here and go to my brother, Eric, my brother. Let's hear from you with this issue before we go to our next story on this statement, and then we'll go to our next story that has to do with what is happening there at the Liberia Free Zone. The Special Economics Zone
Yeah.
Authority Board has called for the suspension of the executive chairperson, that is one Prince Anything Rare, and that will be our next. But let's hear from you as you conclude on this.
This is what I would say. F- Frank raised a very key issue when the Vice President Jeremiah Koon said President Weah was not invited, he was not on the days, he was not there. This is my question to all Liberians who are conscious indeed. Prince, if you are bereaved, do you send guest lists for who will come and sympathize with you? Do you do
Not
that? Should people be invited to come and sympathize?
maybe
Senator
Eli will
Johnson
do
was a
that one.
senator. Yeah, this man was a senator. President Weah and the late Senator Johnson were all at the ECOWAS Parliament. You have to remember when Senator Weah was when President Weah was senator, he was represented abroad at the ECOWAS. Same with Prince Johnson. They were all colleagues at the ECOWAS Parliament. They were all senators. At one point in time, Senator Johnson endorsed the candidacy of President Weah in 2017. And I fast back 2005, if you go back to history. So they have a long historical tie. Does he need an invitation to come and sympathize with Senator Johnson's wife and family? Does he need invitation from the vice president to do that? So that was so childish. I'm a bastard by trap. When it comes to burial, we don't joke with it. We don't send invitation out. We sit on the mat, and anyone who comes, you welcome. We embrace you. And it was even good that President Weah did not even waste the time to go hug Jeremiah Koon, because listen to the hatred in the man's heart for George Weah. He has expressed hatred. But how did his political godfather or leader, Prince Johnson, die? Prince Johnson died as a result of pressure. Pressure. Representative Yeke Koruba informed Liberian people that the last call that Senator Johnson made before he died was to Jeremiah Koon, crying on the phone about neglect. But let's leave Yeke, how you call testament to this situation. Let's go to Senator Johnson himself. Senator Johnson was on record in his church saying how the vice president no longer calls him, no longer visits his church, no longer picks his call, including President Joe Boakai, none of them. He died of rejection. Listen, let's leave what Senator Johnson said. Go to Darius DeLone, a surrogate of this regime. Darius DeLone said Senator Johnson called him on the phone to beg him that his daughter must get employment.
Sure.
This is the man, Senator Johnson. Forget his atrocity, his bad human rights record, but this is the man who made Joe Boakai and Jeremiah Koon to be president, vice president. Had he not endorsed that ticket, they would have never won that election. This man campaigned for you, endorsed you, made you president, and you could not give his daughter a job. He had to call Darius DeLone, who was on his neck, threatening him every time about war crime code, to beg Darius DeLone to say, please talk for me to employ my daughter. The testament of Darius DeLone is there. I want you to find that video. Or I will send it to you to play.
Sure, we have it right
Darius
here.
DeLone said it on the floor of the Senate. He said it. He didn't say it in a room that I'm quoting him. He said on the floor of the Senate. He said Senator Johnson called him and begged him to give his daughter job. And he committed to Senator Johnson. He said, I will do my best to employ your daughter. What does that tell you? It talks about a disconnect between Jeremiah Koon and his political godfather. This man made you representative. He made you senator. He made you vice president. What did you do for him in return? Let's say Joe were a common man, but your political godfather died as a result of pressure because you neglected him. Testament by himself. Testament by Darius DeLone own confession on the floor of the Senate, saying that Senator Johnson had to call him for his daughter employment. Should Senator Johnson call Darius DeLone, who was and is noted for bullying Senator Johnson, to say, please employ my daughter? I beg you. That's the video, right?
Yeah, that's the video. Let me just play it. It's
Yeah,
about 2
play it.
minutes video.
Yeah,
Let me
play it.
just play
Play
it
it.
for our
Yeah,
people
good
to
that you
hear
play the
it.
video. Play it.
Senator Johnson brought his daughter to me, Krista. Some are calling nodding her head positively in acknowledgement of that. Senator Johnson came to my office. Thank you. Thank you. Senator Johnson brought his daughter to me, and several times he came and said, Senator, my son, please talk to President Walker to give my daughter a job. I trust you and your relationship with the president. I said, I will honor that request. 2 days before his passing, Senator Johnson called me and said, distinguished, please don't forget. I said, the president, I will meet the president in Grand Bassa County for the funeral.
Thank you very much to Sis Sarah for the stars. Sis Sarah, I didn't even know that star can come here. Wow. Thank you so much. Sarah Nyimpa, thank you so much.
Of the district lieutenant of Grand Bassa County, and I will remind him and push him. Thursday morning, we in Grand Bassa County for the funeral of the district lieutenant of Grand Bassa County when Krista called me early in the morning crying. Senator, Daddy gone, he left me with you.
So let me
That's
stop
enough.
this here.
Yeah, that's enough. That's it.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. We're
I'm
listening
glad.
to this.
I'm glad that you. I'm very glad that you played this video. Thank you, Prince. You're so on top of your game. This is Darius DeLone. 2 days before the senator death, begging DeLone to talk to the president to employ his daughter. Should the senator who made Joseph Boakai president, Jeremiah Koon vice president, beg DeLone to employ his daughter? Should that be happening? What does that say to all of us? Doesn't that support the argument of neglect that Senator Johnson had earlier on cried in his church about?
Sure.
That his own son that he made, neglected him? And the man died as a result of pressure on the phone, crying to Jeremiah Koon. And Jeremiah Koon would not listen to him. And the man died of pressure. He died of pressure for Christ's sake. The people of Nyuma. It was true, Senator Johnson, your son became vice president. And the man who helped to make him vice president died on the phone crying to him about neglect, begging DeLone to employ his daughter.
Wow.
There's nothing more I can say about this thing. It tells you the character, about these people that are with us, my brother. Let's go to the next topic.
Every day we hear of corruption. These people made us to understand that they were coming to rescue the country. In one of the interviews, Mr. Boyka even said that as far as he's concerned, the Liberian people have not elected him to come and do the same old thing. And I want to play you a video here, just a 1 minute video that I want to play you. When Mr. Boyka was on VOA, and Boyka said to the people of the world, that for him, it's not going to be business as usual. He will come to make it different. And I want to play it because he said, he can show, people who he bring in, the people they are correct, these people they are this, and they will be that, and all the other rest. So let me play it for Liberians to hear it. And then we'll move on to our next something. Let me just play just a few minutes. I just want our people to just listening to this.
we start by making sure those people that we bring to cabinet are people of integrity. And secondly, want to make sure that even beginning with myself, we'll declare our assets and want to make sure that this is well known, the purpose of coming to government, to know that it's public service. And if you are not ready to serve the public, you can go elsewhere.
Now, I just want to stop this here. I just want to play this so that we can be on the record. This man said he was coming to bring people who are credible, people who are honest, people who will do right, people who will protect the people's interests. But fellow Liberians, I don't know what is happening in this government. In fact, what is going on now is most of these other entity of government that we say autonomous agencies that can raise their own money. Do you know that they are now raising money? And I will continue to say this. Do you know that the money that they are raising, some of them are sending money now to Joseph Nyuma Boakai Foundation? You know
Yeah.
that? They are giving money to Joseph Nyuma Boakai. Because of that, some of them are not able to contribute fully towards the budget. They are contributing an insignificant amount. They will raise sufficient amount, but at the end of the day, they contribute small because they are also contributing to Joseph Nyuma Boakai Foundation. This is what is happening. From the marital down to whoever, wherever you think can collect money, they are now giving to Joseph Nyuma Boakai Foundation instead of all of the money going towards the budget. We woke up again this morning with another terrible and sad news. This is coming from another young Liberian. The reason why you see I'm passionate about these people is because whether we like it or not, these people, my people, to be very frank and fair, they are young people. And I think when opportunity is given to them, all of us are happy. But unfortunately, these people, it's like they are deeply entrenched in corruption, especially under Joseph Nyuma Boakai, that they fear nothing. So there is a kind of communication here from the Liberian investigator. I just want to read a few. It says Special Economics Zone Authority Board calls for suspension of executive chairperson. And I'm going to read a few bars of it here. Monrovia. The Board of Liberia Special Economic Zone Authority has called on President Joseph Nyuma Boakai to immediately suspend executive chairperson Prince Anything Rare for alleged financial mismanagement, governance violation, and unilateral decision making in deference of the board's directive. In a resolution passed on February the 21st, 2025, the board recommended Rare suspension pending an in-depth investigation into the accusation of unauthorized expenditure, financial disparity, and failure to comply with the LISA Act. The board, okay, I just want to go down here. This is where interesting. I just want to go down. It says Rare is also accused of spending over $55,000 to rent office space for lease, despite the availability of a building at the Monrovia Free Zone that require only minor renovation. Furthermore, he allegedly signs multiple memorandum of understanding, that is the MOU, and allocated authority property to third parties without board approval, violating Section 20B of the Leases Act. The board claims Rare arbitrarily set his salary at US $8,000 per month without board consent. Additionally, he reportedly determined other staff salary unilaterally while failing to pay board member since September 2024 and leaving local staffs 2 months behind. My people, if
Yeah.
it looking comical, but it is serious. No laughing Benny, because it is our nation that these people are raping. My brother, the board people say they are all man, refuse to conjugate a verb to eat. You eat, everybody eat, anything, all eat. The man
Yeah.
decided he take own money and gave people that you want to give money, free the board member them up, signing MOU unilaterally, doing things all by himself. They accuse this man of corruption. what is happening with this government. That people who are in charge are just doing what they want to do, and nothing becoming of it. Like Ami Moda, he did the same. Collected money, at the end of the day, he walked away free. Let's hear from you, my brother. This again, another person at the Free Zone Authority that is being accused by the same Joseph Nyuma Boakai people. This time they are still accusing their own men and say they men
Yeah.
doing this. What is going on, my brother?
Let me give you can I go ahead?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, please.
Let me give you a history of Prince Anything Rare. Prince Anything Rare has always been in conflict with the laws when it comes to corruption and disrespect of the rule of law. And I must say to you that he should have been the representative of my Gibi District number 3 in 2017. He should have gotten elected because a lot of corrupt money he pumped in that district. That's how he got that name, Anything Rare. Because whatever you say to him, he was just writing the check, giving the money from, he was at housing, down waterside, stealing and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But because he disrespected the code of conduct that says you must resign, if you had an intent to contest, you must resign, I think 2 years prior to, or 1 year prior to, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He did not respect that, like the case of Abu Kamara. So he was taken to court. And then the court found him disrespecting the code of conduct. So he was banned from running in 2017. That's how his wife, Ellen Atore, ran. It was like a month of the election when the ruling came. A month of the election, he just put his wife there. His wife Ellen Atore should not have been represented. It was pretty anything rare. I was in that district at the time. And, in District 4, canvassing for the candidate there. So I know a very long history about Prince Anything Rare. Okay, very corrupt guy, very corrupt. Okay, so that's how his wife was. Let's go to the report. The report, that came up with the Liberian investigator. We are talking about $500,000 here, federal Liberians, $500,000 that the board said this man spent with all the approval, without the approval of the board. Most of the money, he ate it. Not even spent, he ate it. Take for example, the man claimed that he spent $221,000 on personnel to pay salary and things. There was an audit conducted to say, even though the board did not, the board approved $21,000. That was what the board approved. Sorry, he didn't spend $21,000. The board approved $21,000 for him to pay salary. Do you know how much the guy spent? The man spent $264,000 plus on salary, on personnel. The board approved 221,000. He went and spent 264,000 on salary. You understand the kind of corruption? He flattered the FQ. How? It's like I'm saying to you, Prince, your salary is $500 per month. And I tell friends, say, friend, go pay Prince 500. Then Prince went and give you $1,000. How is that? He didn't stop there. The board approved 146,000 plus for goods and services, even though how many Liberians are aware of this group called Liberia Special Economic Zone Authority? What are they doing? What economic benefit is coming to the country that the people sinking below the poverty line? They approved 146,000 plus for goods and services. What services are they doing there? What goods do they need that the board approved 146,000? But do you know what Prince spent? He spent $235,000 contrary to what the board approved. He said he spent it on goods and services for a government arm that relatively no one knows. And he's the executive chairperson. 235,000 contrary to the, and there was an order conducted to say, okay, say you say you spent 235,000, even though the board approved 146,000, let's find the paper trail. Zero paper trail. No documentation to that. No documentation. He claimed that he received 21,000 from an unidentified source. But up to now, after audit, they cannot reveal who their unidentified source is. What kind of broad day corruption is that? And you are right, his salary, the boss set a salary of 8,000, how did they call it? He himself, in fact, he himself set his salary at $8,000 without board approval. Board did not approve $8,000 the boss said he making for his salary. Prior to this, to us even having the conversation, you are playing a video about the central bank governors. Imagine a governor saying every month he takes on $22,000. Do you see what happened to our country? Prince anything rare, a very known corrupt official of government who should be in prison, South Beach, where we should take our children to say, if you steal government money, this is where you will be. See Prince anything rare. This is a man, he sets his own salary at $8,000 against, in fact, without the board consent. And you are right, he has not paid civil servants since September. But he concerned about his own salary. Do you know what happened to our country? You talk about the rent. 55,000 a man say he paid for rent. When the Moreover free zone is there to host them, that just need minor renovation. The man say spend $55,000 for rent. Divide $55,000 per 1 year. Why are they abusing and wasting our resources and nothing happens? Tomorrow, the only thing that will happen to him, if we keep putting pressure, Joe Praga will just say you suspended. He will not go to court. He will not restitute. All the money will go in vain. No one, how many, if you had a phone now to just say, my people, your call, if they when you open the line and ask Liberian people, how many of you people are aware of Liberia Special Economic Zone Authority? As informed as we are, how many of you knew about this group prior to this report from the Liberian investigator? How many of us knew about that there exists, an arm of government called Liberia Special Economic Zone Authority? What's the function of that? Why is Joe Barker so complicit in corruption? Why? What is happening to our country? This is a country that needs so much. Look, you said that had so much projects ongoing, cut down. If I don't even cut down, the usage is almost like non-existent under Trump. Malaria is the second, in fact, it's not the second, it's the first leading cause of death in Liberia. The second is tuberculosis. The USAID was funding malaria, was funding tuberculosis, was funding maternal mortality. Our young women giving birth, the children dying, they themselves dying. USAID was averting these preventable deaths, including malaria, that is the #1 leading cause of death in our country, and tuberculosis coming second. Those sicknesses, that are pervasive in our country are prospering now because of the USAID pullback. Shouldn't these money be directed to USAID? The Prince anything rare would just sit down and eat $500,000. Do you know the impact of $500,000 in a poor, sick country like Liberia? Nothing will happen to that man. The best that will happen to him will be they will suspend him, and then the next day the president will appoint somebody to act, and our country will lose all that. And somebody say, "Oh, the man fighting corruption." How is that a fight against corruption? I mean, the former Minister of Commerce, this man went above the approved allocation for what a government and the appointee should use to buy a car. What happened to him? He himself resigned. Never faced prosecution. He was never jailed. Never made to restitute the money. What they did was they took the car, they sent the car to GSA. Is that how you fight corruption? The man resigned. He's free. He's passing around. He's free.
Thank you.
On no less than a month, the man paid all his loan that he had been having for the last 1 decade. He paid all on no less than a month as Minister of Commerce. This is disgraceful. Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much. My brother Frank, let's hear from you on Prince Anything Rare. What is happening?
Thank you so much.
An entity that, like you said, my brother, most of us even know about that thing. That free zone, Sonny. I know it used to be free zone, but not many people know about it. For these people to be spending such a money, and then we are talking, we get money. Got one there crying and say, "We must pray to God for our budget." My brother, let's hear from you, Frank. What do you make of this?
Thank you so much, Brent, and thank you so much, Eric, for breaking it down to the level of or understanding of our people. You see, when you want to become a soccer player, right? You go to a soccer coach. You don't go to a basketball coach. When you want to become a basketball player, you go to a basketball coach and not a soccer coach. When you want to become a pilot, let's say when you want to fly a plane, you go to a pilot. When you want to move a ship, you go to a captain. Those things, right? But you see, the Liberian people sat down there and said they want to swim.
Yeah.
But instead of finding a good swimmer coach, then when they found a man who cannot swim, but they said he was a coach who can swim. But now this man is drowning, and the Liberian people are drowning along with this man. But this man is still telling them, don't worry, no matter how you drink more water just like me, we're going to build this country. We'll not care. We'll build this country. We'll move this country. We'll do this country. No, don't worry. No matter how you think I'm corrupt, no matter how evidence I coming out, I've been showing that I'm corrupt. Don't worry. I will stay for corruption. That's the kind of country, that's the kind of stage we are in today. Now, the corruption of Boakai is not strange.
No, it's not.
It started from the inaugural, how they call it, the inauguration, the inaugural fund they gave.
Yep.
It went. Boakai did nothing. Now, Boakai himself came to power. What did he do? $22 million. He took it. He said he went face roll. Where is the roll? We didn't see it. And we did not see his so-called propaganda machine, Spoon TV, and the rest of the people who always he used to be on Facebook during the past 7 or 8 years. We used to be on Facebook. By this time of the night or of the day, Facebook will be like, I think, during President George Manawiya time, right? Mark Zuckerberg made more money from Liberia because Facebook was Liberia was one of the areas that Facebook was making money. Because at that time, anybody could just take cell phone and get online and propagate, and what they want to say against the president. You see it? So Boakai took $22 million into her account. Now, it did not stop there. Boakai used another corrupt money. He paid off his loan that he credited from banks over the 6 years period. And he himself said it. He used that and paid it. Where he and the governor, they had issue where he removed the governor because that governor refused to pay his loan. So he removed the man, put different governor there for that governor to pay his loan off.
No, but for Frank, sorry, let me interrupt your time. Do you know Boakai took his loan from RB Bank? His nephew was the head of RB Bank at the time. That or some more guy. It was the same guy he appointed as the bank governor, the current bank governor. Right? So it's like he didn't even worry about people saying, my man, erase that loan, I will make you bank governor. That it made he made bank governor. Thank you. Sorry for interrupting your time.
Yeah, exactly. So how can such a man come to you, Liberian people? Do you still believe this government? Do you still believe this government can rescue you?
Never.
I mean, with all the loopholes, internationally, locally, with all the neglect, do you still believe in this government that you'll be rescued? Do you still believe in this government after 1 year and a half that Liberia will still be saved, that Liberia will still be developed, that you will get the opportunity that you did not get during a 6-year period? Do you still believe this government? Now, look at an entity, like you said, Eric. I did not even know about the entity because such entities are never known to the Liberian people. Because the Liberian people, if they make it known to the Liberian people, we will know that those money are being put there for the Liberian people. You see, so they never talk about it. And you said something about the USAID, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. It is not Donald Trump that stopped it. It is the same people who are in power now. At that time, they were in opposition. They prayed. They wrote petition. You see, they say government is continuity, right?
Yeah.
Okay. President Donald Trump came and saw the letter that gave
I
them
agree.
support.
I agree with
Yeah.
you.
So why
Yeah.
you want to say President Donald Trump?
I
They the
agree.
same people that run their own campaign.
I agree. Yeah. They said no aid should come to Liberia.
For Liberia, they wrote
Yeah.
letter. They
Yeah.
went there, they campaign. They made
Mhm.
video, everything. So if Joe Biden did not do it, did not honor that letter, President
Mhm.
Donald Trump came, he saw the letter on the
Yeah.
table. So what he
Yeah.
did, he went through the letter and then went through what Liberia had been receiving from the US.
Mhm.
And said, oh, but then no. For example, they used to give $2.5 million or so for what? They said, I know, voter confidence. Hey! So you want to blame President Donald Trump when these are the same people that wrote the American Congress and said, we don't need this money. Don't give us this money. So why should you blame President Donald Trump when he came and saw the letter and saw the request by the same people and then he decided to work on it, to act on it, then you want to blame it? For example, even the $205 million for voter confidence that the bank gave in every voting year. Did they go to Liberian people? Do you have to come and tell me how to vote? Did that money go to them? Even to the police stations. Poor washer are they hungry? Do they feed them? Where that $2.5 million go? Where the $2.5 million go? The police station, the poor washer are there. They don't eat. People have to, how they call it, donate to them. Go and buy food for them. Some of them were sitting there from 6 to 6. They're hungry, nothing. So where the $2.5 million go for voter confidence? People are going to vote, they stay alone. Where that money go? Do they bring food for them? Do they bring water for them instead of free water there? When you test it, go drink, or when you finish voting, the food where they go eat, or something, or do they put it in car to carry to go vote, or people can be chartered in car or going to places and things? Where the $2.5 million go? It go to election commission to rig the election? So all of these things, they advocated for it. It was not, and you know the good thing about it, the records are there. So we can say it is a current opposition that are doing this because, look, let me tell you something. Again, I will go back to the common man. The common man is the man that have the nation interest. Because when the common man is in power, you don't see the common man doing negative stuff. Okay? You don't see the common man going to their colony because the common man do not believe that they got colonial master. It is a political elite who believe they got colonial master. And that's why we saw Yasin Payne were in her play and she said, we are the descendant of those that left from here and went to Liberia. So therefore that we are American too. You will not see a common man leaving from here going there and tell them, say, we are descendant of those that left from here, that went over there. So we are American citizens. So the taxpayer money too, it belongs to us. Don't send money there. They advocated for this. So it is a common man that have the nation interest. Now, they empower, the political idea in power. The children of the slave are in power, or the descendants are in power. Do you see the common man going to Washington, D.C. to say, we don't want it to go to Liberia? No, it is not happening because, first of all, the campaign they ran, the campaign is only going against them. Donald Trump received a letter. Donald Trump received their own petition, and their own petition is working against. And they said, when you levy in a glass, or be careful how you throw stone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much. You put it in the best way. Like you said, you are right. You know, when we're coming up in school, we used to sing some kind of song. I know, be careful, little more what you say. Something like that, you know, be careful, little more what you say. Because the Father is in heaven and He washing down on earth. So be careful, little more what you say. This is what is happening today. They call for it. And now we are seeing it. And they are crying, telling us now, more go to God. Like God is concerned about why He has already given you the power, He has already given you the authority, the knowledge, and everything to be able to use, but you say, we must go to Him. It's an insult. It is an insult. But lastly, I want us to just, conclude on this. The government of Liberia is losing too much money because of this same corruption. Money is entering in the pockets of people instead of being used on the common people. Today, we have schools that are in deplorable conditions. We have hospitals that are without drugs. Even though Mr. Boakai boasted when he mounted the podium in January, the State of the Nation address, and said drugs are all over in the hospitals. But today we have hospitals without drugs. Today, Liberia is completely insecure. Today we are seeing that our people are living on less than $1 a day. This president has not taken any serious step to say, look, let us be able to pass a law or let's sign an executive order that will protect Liberian-owned businesses, that will protect Liberian. But this man was brave enough to sign a law, an executive order, 141, giving terrorists an opportunity to come and invest with arms and ammunition, even though they're here, giving people the right to hold gun around and be passing around, knowing our history, that even the DDR process was not even adequately completed because some people even go through that particular rehabilitation
Yeah,
correct. Some of them, they
yeah,
stay, they need some real serious rehabilitation. But this
yeah.
man was brave enough to sign the Executive Order 141, say, Liberian, you can go ahead, get your gun and do this. My brother, let me hear from you, and we're going to conclude on this, and we'll call this a day. How is this dangerous for our democracy, for our peace? A country that just, did not even go through, did not even go through the DDR process completely. But now you are telling the people, a country where people who are in power, some of them can just abuse power.
Yeah.
Willingly, willfully, knowingly, they will abuse power. But you're telling these people you can bring your gun and can't register the gun. A country that does not even have a postal system, where when you want to direct somebody to go look for your auntie or your uncle somewhere, pray that your uncle or your auntie must be popular. Or someone on plum tree must be standing in front of that place that most of the beginning can go there to go pick plum. Then you go behind that plum tree and power that other zing that the pin, that raise zing when you power that other one with that other window. But
Yeah.
you are telling people to come and register their arm. My brother Eric, let's hear from you as you conclude on this. How sound is this? Is this a proactive leadership approach? Is this going to put food on the table of our people? Is this going to help Liberians? Is this going to even make our country secure? Let's hear from you, sir,
The
on
thing
this.
is, the thing is, Prince. Joe. Let's look at the history of Joe Boakai. Don't quote me. Quote Benina Ure, his former ally. Benina Ure is on record for saying Joe Boakai funded, participated in the armed struggle in Lofa County through the Lofa Defense Force. So he has a history of revolutionary and rebel group activities, right? So it's not strange that his interest in the country is for people to bear arms. But even in the West, America that we're in, the citizens that have arms, what is happening here as a result? If you follow the news, it's a tragic and a horrible news. One person take arm and kill police, kill students, kill this, kill that. Every day is about arm and death and thousands of Americans are losing their lives as a result of gun control. A country that is sophisticated like America, thousands of its citizens dying as a result of gun being in the hand of civilians. Even the very police, right? Imagine the police who are trained to bear arms are killing innocent citizens in Liberia. Now you're giving Liberians who have little or no experience about arms to say bear arms. A man and a wife having leg commotion, he would take an arm and kill her. Do you know how many uh, women losing their life as a result of domestic violence, even in the absence of arm? And all Joe Barker thinks about is arm. A country that we have spent 14 years on him. He has not employed a single person outside of government job. The private sector is paralyzed, non-existent. He's still walking in the shadow of what George Weah left, and even depleting George Weah's shadow. because most of those entities that were there are dropping and redundant people because the economy of the country is a mess. They don't used to say it's in the toilet. I don't know whether it's still in the toilet or it has become the toilet itself, even though he's dumb down to talk about it. So it tells you that the president has no priority of our country. The essence of government is the happiness of the people, the pursuit of the happiness of the people. Are the people in Liberia happy? Are they? Your family back home, are they happy? My family back home, are they happy? Under a Joe Parker-led government? And you talk about the poor should take on? It's a horrible thing to hear. It's disgraceful. There's so many things in the country that needs urgent attention that the president has refused to pay attention to, but he wants to use this as a distraction. He wants to distract us from the real issue of the day. The real issues are there is no job in our country, poverty is increasing, our health is almost non-existent. Doctors are on strike, nurses are on strike, no medication in our hospitals. You go to hospital, they say go to drugstore for medication, and people dying. It's very expensive. They cannot afford JFK. They cannot afford redemption. People die every day of curable diseases. Okay, our schools are completely mess. Complete mess. Every day protest. Every day, teacher on this, students on this. Agriculture. He say he come from the background of agriculture. Is Liberia dependent, self-dependent when it comes to food? 14 months gone. It takes 6 months for rice to grow and supply. How come 14 months gone? We have not had one locally made rice on the market to help to push back from what the Indians and the Chinese send it to us. The rice prices where he made it, he has taken it above. In cases, it's open. You can barely find it. So all of these things that he should preoccupy himself with, he's not concerned about it. He's not concerned. He's unbothered. This man is soulless. He has no soul. And like Frank said, this is 6 years, but Frank is no longer 6 years. It's less than 5 years now. Because 1 year already gone. We're in the 5th year, and we're already in the 10th month of the 5th year. Okay, so we have like 4 years, 9 months to go. But it's unbearable. People would die along the way. People would die of starvation. People would die of hunger. People would die of ulcer. People would die of malaria, curable diseases, typhoid, tuberculosis. Women go to JFK, they give birth, they can't leave because they ain't able to pay the medical bill. The babies are being there and the babies are strapped on the bed and they're giving them bare minimum to survive. They're turning into skeletons on the bed of JFK. I've been there. I've seen the horrible horrors of Liberia. I call back home. I send money regularly. I'm an angry young man because what I should be using to save here and build my life, I have to send it back to solve problem back home. If we had an effective government back home, our people would not be beggars. Liberians are industrious people. They are brave people. But there's a historical precedent of our country. Sometimes we have to look at the voters themselves. I tell you, we have had presidents who were developmental oriented. They don't end well in our country. Turbo, for example, from mat to mattress, trying to move our country. What happened? Turbo was assassinated through the help of Madam Salif and Joe Boakai. Joe came, is trying to build here and there, even though he has some horrible human rights credential. But in terms of development, he was moving the country. What happened to him? He was killed, murdered. Joshua came. They could not give him the second chance. He was voted out. Joshua was moving the country, talking about, expanding our roads and farm to market road and building markets and making university free for our students and things. What even the students did, they were booing the officials of Joshua who made education free. I went to the University of Liberia 2010. My ID number is 64559. I know what we went through. I saw women fainting on the line for what they call add and drop. Add and drop. A horrible process. When George Rankin, he digitalized that process. Nobody had to faint. Pregnant women collapsed. Students were having mental problems because of the unbearable tension at the University of Liberia. What happened? When George Rankin, he reversed all that. He revoked those things. He improved it. But the very students were the one booing President Weah and his official. So sometimes our people themselves, we must put some blame on our people. The people need to be conscious about leaders that are in their interest. Who did they vote for? They voted for a man who has a dementia, who heart is not even there. He's on pace, according to himself, pacemaker. The heartless man you voted for. In the words of Henry Costa, a dead man walking, you voted for. In the words of Henry Costa, a boyo man you voted for as vice president. What do you expect? You rejected a man who listened to you, who was moving your country. You rejected him for a dead man walking, a boyo man like the Koon and Joe Boakai to run their country. What do you expect? The people themselves have to rise up and be conscious. You can't kill and reject your good leaders and cry when the horrible ones come. You get what you deserve. But again, we have to pit it our people. Our people are hungry. Our people are poor. They are jobless. And so these politicians, the truth comes to our people and control their conscious mind and reduce it into nothingness. And they say rescue. What kind of rescue today? Do you know how many Liberians lost their job under a quote unquote rescue that should be expanding the job pool? It is a sad history of our country, my brother. I want to say thank you for the opportunity. And I will avail myself every time for this show. It's about time that we prioritize re-educating our people. And if they were misinformed or miseducated, we have to reorientate them or re-educate them. So I'm committing my time on your show going forward. Thank you, brother.
You're muted, Prince. You're muted, Prince. We can hear you.
You are muted.
I'm sorry, please. These are the same platform that these people use to make the government unpopular. I remember during their opposition days, they had kind of class real low. They had all these ministers that you're looking at today working in government. They were on various platforms, different platforms. Some of the platforms that we can see here today, they were on different platforms, lying, and some of our people bought into their lies.
Yeah.
So we use the same medium to educate our people. Again, I want to say to all of us, this is a platform for every one of us that we can use. Thank God that over the period we have built it. We are working behind the scene. Today we had a discussion, but we are still working behind the scene. It's not easy to get this connected to at least a radio station. We just meet here for our panel discussion one day in the week, which is Friday,
Okay.
So we are working on that, and we hope and pray that everything, will really work up. So we are counting on your support. Like, we'll continue to inform you. We'll continue to remind you, because that's the best thing that we can do. That's the best thing that we can do. But let's hear from our brother Frank as we conclude. My brother Frank, it's over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Brother Prince. You said one thing. I want to twist it the other way around. You said the government is losing, money, and I'm saying the government is not losing money. Which government is losing money? No, money are being mismanaged by the government. That's what I want to say. Money are being mismanaged by the government. The government is not losing money, because this is what the government came for, to make money in their bank account, to put money in their account, in their children account, to put Liberian people money there, to steal Liberian people money. So the government is not losing money. The government is earning money and managing the money of the nation, the money of the people. That's what the government is doing. Now, you talk about the 141 executive order that was passed by Boakai. You see, when a government do not have the interests of 8 people she or he serve, this is what happened. You see, during a campaign time, what did we see? Did we not see Boakai as a chairman of the Unity Party at that time? Did we not see him ordering citizens to kill other citizens? Did we not see him ordering his political party affiliation to kill other citizens who did not agree with him, who could not express themselves as the way they want to, as a nation of democratic institution? Did we not see it? So it is not strange if Boakai come and pass 141 executive order for Liberian citizens to bear arms. You know what? Guess what? I think this is the best time for Liberian people to get it. You know what? This is the best time because it is the same Liberian. It is the same motorcycle who say, Boakai, if you don't pour back on the street to hustle, because this is where we make our money to feed our children. In fact, to pay our school fees, to go to the university that was free, that you came back and took away our free tuition. You know what? This is where we run our back to pay our wire fee for our sisters, our brother, and ourselves. For the wire fee that you came and took away from us. And now you came and took millions of dollars away from the same bank brother you said they should register. You said they should buy helmet before they can run. Yeah, Boakai, you signed a social contract with the people. And then now you come back and you want to take away that social contract away from them? How you expect them? Are you going to give them their money? And that is what is said. All right. Give back our money that you took from us, the registration, the helmet you took from us, give it back to us, and then we will leave the street, and then we will go. Now, you know, be careful the finger you point at people, because that same finger might come back and bite you or it haunt you. Like I said, this is the time for the 141 executive order, because the guys, the boys, the men have spoken. They said, if you don't put them back on the street, if you don't give them by that social contract that you sign with them, human being will lose every day. Oh yes, this is the time they need to go and buy their guns and register it. Because Boakai is telling them, I agree for human being to lose every day. That is why I am passing the 141 executive order. Instead of me passing an executive order to increase productivity when it comes to agriculture, I don't like it. I don't want you to eat. I don't want to feed you. I care less to do with that. Instead of me passing an executive order to reduce or eliminate drugs, the proliferation of drugs in the country, things that they campaign for, Boakai said, no, I don't have your time. You are a common citizen. You are a nothing. You are a least person in the society that I'm looking at. Why should I help you to compete with my children? You are nothing. You are Zogo. These are the same political elite. Time to time, every name, every adjective name that they have on us, on the common people in that country, these are the same political elite who name it. It is not a common man that name a common man. It is a political elite. It is not a common man that went and named another common man Zogo. It is a political elite. It is not a common man that went and named the people of country chicken or country people. It is the political elite. That is why they do not want to affiliate themselves with the common man. Because they feel a common man lack knowledge and does not deserve the right as a Liberian citizens. That is why they don't care. They don't care to pass an executive order to look into the healthcare sector, like Eric already talked about, They don't have the courage to do that because they don't care about you. They want you to die, to be put in a situation that you will not be hefty. Because when you are hefty, your mind will be hefty, your focus will be hefty, your destiny will be hefty. You'll be hefty to compete with them. They want to put you in a state of mind that you'll be a backer, a perpetual backer. That's why I call you a common man. But you know what? We have to show to the people we are common. This is the time to run it up now. Do not be deceived by anybody. No one should come to you to tell you, oh, you know what? We should try another new person. We should try this. They find out. They may come to you and tell you we should try another person. They already know Boakai is not coming. They already know Boakai have faith. So they will come to you and tell you, let's try another person. But the person that they bring it to you, it is the same political elite, not a common person. Even if they bring a common person to you, that common person, it is already part of the political elite who do not have their interest, and that is why they are already describing you. It is a sound that they are giving to you, a description of who you are now. This is the time. We, the common people, henceforth, going forward, from now on, we should be the common people and united as a force for good for the common people. I rest my case.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so very kindly. Again, fellow Liberians, we want to say to you, it is about time that you recognize and identify with
Yeah.
those who believe in you. For too very long, these people have used us to kill ourselves, to humiliate ourselves, to bring ourselves down. You know, in one of Bob Marley's songs, he says something. He said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery.
Mental slavery, yeah.
None but we
By
ourselves
ourselves,
can
yeah.
free
To
our
free
mind.
our minds, yeah.
We have to come together. It is about time. And they call common people, we are of no value. We ain't get no use. These were the kind of statement that they were using against President Weah. Well, who know that man? That common man, that man from Gibraltar, that man from West Point. But today, what he did while he was in power, up to now, they are yet to even match 0.00.1% of what
Yeah.
he did. They are looking for a way. They are struggling, and they cannot even find their way through. But I want to say to all of us, let us support each other. Let us stand by each other. These people don't have your best interests at heart. It is only the person who believes, who trusts you, who can be able to make the sacrifices that person believe and trust in you that get your interest.
Yeah.
If you gave these people an opportunity, now they know that they have failed. There's the reason I say, hey, we got to try another option. No. The only option that we have here right now is President Weah. When you hear them on their different platform, hey, look, we got to try another person, man. Hey, look, we got to try another person. The person, they are ashamed. They don't want to say it that we're going back to President Weah. They don't want to say it. But let us rally around His Excellency President Weah for a better Liberia, because it
Yeah.
is he that have the interest of us, because he's a common man. He know our suffering. He understand
Yeah.
our struggle. He ate Gary. He ate pancana. He low for aluminium. He low for all battle. He saw all pain. So he understand our interest. And that's why he was doing things in our interest. That's why you saw he built hospital to all the way there, Bapolu, a place that is, oh, that place, no road can go there. But he built hospital there. That's why he was building homes for his people. Places that have never seen even block. He was building homes for them. Let's rally around His Excellency President Weah for a better Liberia. Don't allow these people to deceive you. Stand by him and let's support him. Let's continue to do everything to ensure that our
Yeah.
party is promoted for 2029. Until we meet again, fellow Liberian, next week, Friday, you are welcome. Follow the page. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook. We are on X. And we are on Twitter. So follow us as I speak now. We are there streaming live. And like the page and also share the page. Until we meet again, have yourself a God bless day. My brother Eric, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Frank. And to all of you who comment, who share, who like, I want to say God bless you and bye from our end.
Thank you.
We want to encourage those who want to remain corrupt and steal money, that I beg them. The money should be used to bless our people. Thank you and God bless.